After finishing school, you can either enter a higher education institution or a vocational school. In this video, we will briefly cover both options and how to apply for a visa if you want to study in Estonia. Higher education in Estonia. Estonian education is well respected in the whole world. This is also indicated by the high positions of Estonian universities on the Times Higher Education and Quacquarelli-Symonds University rankings. The University of Tartu is actually considered the best university in New Europe by the Times Higher Education. Other Estonian universities are among the 100 best universities in the world in different fields. Every year, more than 5,000 foreign students study in Estonia. If you want to study in English, you're usually required to pay a tuition fee in most of the undergraduate and master's programs. However, all Estonian language classes are free of charge for all higher education students. In Estonian universities, the study period is divided into 2 semesters. They are usually called the autumn and the spring semesters. If you are studying full-time, you will have to complete at least 30 acts or credit points per 1 semester. 1 credit point stands for approximately 26 hours of academic work. The higher education institutions are divided into universities and professional higher education institutions. There are 7 universities and 8 professional higher education institutions in Estonia. You can find different curricula and more information about schools on the university's websites and at studyinestonia.ee. The Estonian higher education system has 3 degrees: undergraduate education or bachelor's degree, which lasts 3 to 4 years, a master's degree that lasts 1 to 2 years, and doctoral studies that last an additional 3 to 4 years. In addition, some curricula have the so-called integrated learning, which usually lasts 5 to 6 years. In that case, you achieve a degree equal to master's. If you want to enter a higher education institution, you will need to prove that you have a degree of secondary education, which means high school or gymnasium. In case you have to pay for your studies, it is good to know that the annual tuition fee usually varies between 1,500 euros and 6,000 euros per year. However, doctoral education in Estonia is free of charge. Vocational education in Estonia. As an alternative to higher education studies, you can also come to study in vocational schools, where you can hone your skills required in the labor market. Vocational education opportunities are also available for people with unfinished basic education. There are different levels of vocational education in Estonia that are all based on the Estonian qualifications framework. The framework divides formal education qualifications into 8 levels. Higher degrees mentioned before occupy the educational levels from 6 to 8. At a vocational school, however, you'll be able to study from level 2 to 5. To study in a level 2 curriculum, you will only need a basic education certificate. However, if you want to study at a curriculum that is considered level 5, you will have to have graduated a secondary education institution. We will now give some examples of work you can do with each level of education. Level 2 education grants you skills required for elementary workers, like a cleaner assistant. Level 3 and 4 are reserved for skilled workers, machine operators, service and sales personnel, or clerical support workers. The examples of these types of work are a logger, a baker, and a carpenter. With Level 5 education, you will be able to work as a technician and a craftmaster, a frontline manager, or clerical worker. Level 5 education includes jobs such as an electrician, construction site manager, and an accountant, among others. In total, there are 32 vocational education institutions and 6 professional higher institutions active in Estonia, so feel free to choose one that meets your expectations. You can find more information on the webpage of the Ministry of Education and Research, hm.ee. Everybody can enter the labor market after they finish their studies, but some students already start working during their studies. The Estonian labor market will welcome all graduates of the Estonian higher education institutions.
Välismaalane saaks taotleda pikaajalise teeliki viisa õppimise eesmärgil, peab esiteks tal olema õppeasutus Eestis, kes teda Eestisse kutsub. Ja kui õppeasutus väljastab talle vastava kutse sinna Eestisse, siis võib ta pöördudes Eesti Vabariigi suursaatkonna poole, kui ta viibib välismaal, või kui isik juba viibib seaduslikel alusel Eestis, taotleda pikaajalist ehk teeliki viisat õppimise eesmärgil. Kui välismaalane viibib Eestis seaduslikel alusel ja esitab pikaajalise teeliki viisa taotluse Eestis, siis selleks peab ta esitama pikaajalise teeliki viisa taotluse ankeedi, ühe digitaalse värvifoto, passikoopia isikuandmete leheküljest, õppeasutuse kinnituse, mis vastab tema eesmärgile, kui tema eesmärk on õppimine, riigilõivu peab ta ka maksma taotluse eest, mis on hetkel summas 100 eurot, ja kindlustuslepingu, mis katab tema meditsiinilised kulud Eestis. Taotluse allkirjastamisega kinnitab taotleja, et tal on ka legaalne sissetulek siin Eestis viibimiseks kogu viisa kehtivuse ajal. Kui isiku õppimine kestab alla aasta, siis saab ta oma õppimise perioodi katta pikaajalise teeliki viisaga, mida saab maksimaalselt saada kuni 365 päeva ja pärast veel pikendada. Kogu periood ei tohi muidugi olla suurem kui 548 päeva 730 päevase perioodi jooksul. Kui välismaalase õppimine kestab rohkem kui aasta ja õppeasutus on nõus ja valmis väljastama talle vastava kutse, siis on välismaalasel võimalus ja õigus taotleda tähtajalist elamisluba õppimise eesmärgil.
For more detailed D-visa application instructions, visit vm.ee.